Hello and welcome to Forever F1 and some very interesting news of the Formula One world this week coming up today. Lance Stroll set to increase his stake in Aston Martin and potentially take it private, which could have major sort of ramifications on the Formula One team. Also, Ferrari looking to try and speed up its upgrades and are doing several things to try and make themselves competitive, whilst Red Bull have officially relaunched their special livery for the Japanese Grand Prix, which is very, very nice. And I think they've nailed it, in fairness. So lots to talk about. Before we do that, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Let's get into it, shall we? So the big news of the day is this. Move to that one. And that is that Lance Stroll is set to up his stake in Aston Martin by an additional £52.5 million. And this would result in him making an offer to buy off the rest of the shareholders. Now, what's very important about the story is that this is not a stake in the Formula One team in Aston Martin Racing, basically. This is in Aston Martin itself. And he has said that he might consider taking the luxury car maker private because the company's value, he reckons, is very undervalued. So his used Prix Consortium is set to invest approximately £51.5 million or £52 million, and which would increase his ownership up to a third from a current 27.7%. He's obviously sort of came in and sort of saved the company back in 2020 when he initially invested. Now, the big question is, what does this mean with regards to the team itself? And there's major ramifications because there will be a bit of a restructure. So with him investing in the road-going company, I suppose the best way of putting it, it is set to potentially sell a stake in the F1 team for what will be around £74 million. And basically, sort of the idea is that the sort of off-track success will kind of then help with the on-track success, and is already looking to sort of find equity firm investors to put in some money, because the team itself, the racing team, is valued at about £1.8 billion, and they've been making lots and lots of big moves from a Aston Martin race point of view to make themselves a genuine contender. Obviously, the big one was Adrian Newey and getting him across the line. And he's supposed to be, I think if he was a driver, he'd be like the fifth best paid driver on the grid. You know, that's how much money they've invested in getting Adrian Newey across to Aston Martin. But he's not the only one. They've brought across Enrico Cardal from Ferrari, who is going to be the chief technical officer in 2025, as well as Andy Cowell, who was the Mercedes former engine boss, and basically trying to create the best possible sort of team for the racing job itself. Now, in terms of the company, he has invested more than £600 million since 2020 and is trying to make them, Aston Martin of old. The CEO, Adrian Hallmark, said the following on terms of the additional investment, saying, "The renewed backing from Lawrence and his U-Tree Consortium associates highlights their substantial confidence in our team and the company's future. By fortifying the balance sheet, this investment grants us additional flexibility to bolster our future product development and business transformation efforts." For fans of the sport, this would suggest the team's trajectory is upwards. With Newey's input, Stroll's financial support, and roster of talented personnel, Aston Martin seems to be positioned to challenge the established powers that be on the grid, regardless of whether the company is public or private. So, very interesting things to come. What that does mean is that if you're hoping to see less of his son, Lance, I don't think it's going to happen. Unfortunately, if you're hoping to see him potentially get ousted, I'll be very surprised. And because he's going to be given every opportunity to try and succeed in Formula One. Look, to be fair, if he starts to really perform poorly and really that badly, then it becomes quite easy to justify getting rid of him. But it's a bit of a, you kind of have to work with the devil, isn't it? In the case of Lawrence Stroll's come in and completely saved Aston Martin as a brand. The result is that his son drives a car. Nepotism at its finest, isn't it? And unfortunately, Lance Stroll's never really managed to live up to any sort of expectation as a Formula One driver. But this renewed investment, I think, shows that Aston Martin don't just want to be a bit part team. They don't want to just be a mid-tier team that's kind of sort of the best of, the top teams, because they're kind of that awkward cousin, aren't they? Mercedes are improving. Red Bull are not great at the moment. comparative to where they are, but we expect them to get better. McLaren completely dominant, Ferrari trying to get there, and then you got kind of Aston Martin who kind of floating there, but not really part of that big four, and they very much want to put themselves into that top four to start to get people to take them seriously. Speaking of other people in the top four who need to start taking things a bit more seriously, Ferrari are rushing. Apparently, they wanted to try and get a new floor in for Japan this week, but it looks like it's not going to happen, unfortunately. And they're going to try and find a bit, or they're looking to try and get a better setup. But the big thing is the floor. So it doesn't sound like, that initially there was talks that they were going to try and get a new floor in, and that was kind of the issues they had with disqualification, the likes of that. But it looks more likely that we're going to see those sort of upgrades come in Bahrain. So this is sort of the update on the Ferrari sort of upgrades. So first things first, they've developed a new simulator, which is to try and get better data and allow the drivers to kind of understand the car a little bit better. So whether it'll really help or not, we'll wait and see. But that's one of the steps they have taken. They apparently have got data from the Chinese Grand Prix, which reveals the car performs better with a lower fuel load and at a lower ride height. At the moment, they couldn't get a long run during Bahrain testing because they didn't really sort of push the car to the ultimate limits. So now they're sort of getting more information. But it looks like that with the disqualification and Hamilton's sprint victory, they've got a lot more data to work with. Now, it's positive in terms of Ferrari basically sort of claiming that they kind of know their car a bit better and that they reckon they know how to get the best out of this car. I remain very pessimistic as a Ferrari fan because we hear this before and then things don't always align to what they promised, isn't it? So, yeah, we have to wait and see whether they actually are going to be able to get things right. But the main thing they've said is that because they understand the car a little bit better, they reckon they can set it up to sort of really give it the performance that Hamilton and Charles Leclerc need to try and get results in it. Whether it'll work, we'll wait to see. Because the main objective apparently is to try and improve the platform stability, aerodynamics, mechanical balance in Suzuka, and then we're expecting a big upgrade package come Bahrain. So that is where apparently we're supposed to see potentially a lot of different upgrades. One of them will be the new floor, which will be an overall performance game. And rather than just sort of trying to fix an issue, they try and make it significantly better rather than just trying to fix what was broken. And we potentially get to see, well, we potentially might see other upgrades alongside that as well. And then if you're a Red Bull fan, well, I'll tell you what, get ready to really enjoy your car this weekend because this is what the Red Bull have released with regards to their livery for this weekend. The white is back, and to celebrate the last year of Honda, the end of their partnership, and Yuki Tsunoda to debut in Japan for the Red Bull. It all comes together very nicely, doesn't it? With the final sort of Japanese Grand Prix with Honda as the engine supplier to Red Bull. And have a look at that. First of all, the race suits are nice and clean, but that livery, that car is gorgeous. It really is. They've done a really nice job. I really enjoyed the Haas. That livery that's come out as well, the Japanese one with a bit of pink on it, but that's nice. I think maybe it could have been a bit more yellow. I think there's probably quite a lot of black there. I think you could have added a bit of yellow to sort of add a little bit more sort of contrast to that. I really like the white and the red there. And I mean, the red and the black looks really nice. But a little bit of yellow, I think, in that could have added a nice bit of contrast. But I think they've done a really, really nice job. I love that front wing. I think that is really good. And the big one is the nod of the head to Honda, who have been a really important part of the success of this Red Bull side. And it'll be interesting to see once they move away from them as their power unit, if they're going to be able to continue their success, because it's been a really good time with Honda. And Max Verstappen in particular has benefited from that partnership a lot with the winning car. And Yuki Tsunoda has benefited from Honda putting a lot of money into Red Bull with him being part of the package. And now is at a time where, he's got the opportunity he's wanted just in time, because, with Honda pulling out, it's rather moving away from Honda, then, they don't have the financial backing to try and keep Yuki Tsunoda in that seat. He now has to keep himself in that seat through additional sponsors, as well as the results and the talent that he has, because he's not going to have that Honda leverage that he's had for years, which has got him into F1 situations and got him into a lot of good deals. So where do you see this white livery landing up on the grid this weekend? Where do you see them qualifying? Where do you see them finishing on Sunday? Let me know your predictions down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon.